Yeah.
Well, speaking of things that could only come from the bowels of hell, we have a special treat for our top Zen. Um, in honor of Jim Viscardi, we decided to create a Wild Podcast has appeared friendly countdown. Each episode of a Wild Podcast has appeared ends with the Pokefact of the week, and Christian Hoffer is in his prime when he picks the creepiest Pokemon to discuss. I will say that he has missed some that I would like to point out. For example, like if you're going to have a conversation about Jinx and you're not going to talk about the episodes that were banned because it looks like blackface and why they had to change the color of Jinx, like you're missing out on some really big, interesting facts that should be discussed there. And I think we're going for like the PG rated version, and I don't want that. I want the R rated version. So, um, well, anyways, I thought tonight we would be opening up our Pokedex and looking at the creepiest, weirdest entries to see if we can make a Wild Podcast as appearance cast proud. So let's get started off, and I will start off the countdown. Number 10 in our countdown is Drifloon. So the Pokedex entries for Drifloon goes. Stories go that it grabs the hands of small children and drags them away to the afterlife. It dislikes heavy children. And to that I say, take that, Michelle Obama. Um, you know, for once it has a benefit to be the hefty guy. Um, and yeah, definitely a creepy idea that you could have a ghost balloon that just comes and picks up small children and just, oh, fly away. It's like if Pennywise's balloon was sentient.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
true. That's true. You know, when we were doing the fact that this is something that takes children away to the afterlife is on number 10. Like, I mean, Jesus, it's gonna get pretty
Yes,
dark.
it's gonna get real dark.
You just casually said that, and I think you casually said that because you're jaded at how many fucked up entries there actually are. And
It's
we only
true.
could make,
It is.
and we had to choose 10 out of the whole list that we had here.
Right. I mean, this is literally, again, a sentient version of Pennywise's balloon.
Yeah,
So, Brahma, what
yeah.
do you think about Drifloon making number 10 on our countdown?
Drifloon, yeah, pretty freaking creepy. I don't want to see, even as an adult, I don't want to see a Drifloon coming at me in the middle of the night. Almost as scary as seeing the next Pokemon come at you in the middle of the night.
For real. Number 9 on our countdown, Brahman, is Kadabra. Tell us why why Brahman makes number 9 on our countdown. Why Kadabra makes number 9 on our countdown.
No, I'm number 1 on the countdown. I'm in the scariest Pokemon.
You wouldn't be number 9.
So Kadabra, this is what it says in the Pokedex about Kadabra. A theory exists that this Pokemon was a young boy who couldn't control his psychic powers and ended transformed into this Pokemon. Yikes, that is a little boy trapped in the body of a Pokemon for all eternity. And this I found super interesting in the wake of the Kadabra news that we talked about last week, I believe. So this Pokemon was actually based on a real person, Uri Geller. He's a famous illusionist and self-proclaimed psychic, but he threatened legal action over this specific Pokemon. To give you a little recap, due to Geller's likeness being used, especially in regard to his famous spoon trick, as you can see, Kadabra is holding a spoon. Kadabra has been unable to appear in print for the last 20 years, so that meant no Pokemon cards. Geller recently lifted these restrictions, though, and realized he was being a total simp over it. So, yeah.
way to bring the simp story back around.
Got to. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I think this one is just a little bit creepier than the last one, specifically when you take the Uri Geller story into context with it. The fact that he was saying that they took his image, they used his trick, they used all this thing, and it's kind of like in the Pokedex entry they admit it. It's like a theory exists that this Pokemon was a young boy who couldn't control his psychic powers. Be like, nah, you can't handle this. We're turning you into a motherfucking Kadabra. You can't handle these spoon bending powers. And so the fact that Kadabra could one day become a reality is, I think, one of the most terrifying things that lands him at number 9 on the countdown. but he's not quite as spooky as number 8 in our countdown, Scarecrow Pikachu himself. That's right, Mimikyu is number 8. Tell us why Mimikyu makes number 8 on our countdown, Kev.
Yes, Mimikyu, Dad. This would have made number 1 or 2 for me, maybe. It's definitely high up there. But
Yeah.
a lonely Pokemon, Mimikyu is always covered by the skies. It is unknown what Mimikyu's true appearance looks like since the Pokemon is weakened by sunlight. There's rumor that the veil is used for protection. It's believed that seeing its true form will cause a mysterious illness or even a painful death. Because of this, Mimikyu will become agitated and violently stop anyone from attempting to look underneath its rag. Mimikyu is disguised and modeled after Pikachu because of the popularity of Pikachu style merchandise, thinking that its disguise would allow it to make friends with people. As a quote from the entry goes, its actual appearance is unknown. A scholar who saw what was under its rag was overwhelmed by terror and died from the shock.
Yeah. It's basically Five Nights at Freddy's version of Pikachu, is what Mimikyu is.
That's a very accurate way of putting it.
Hey, I spend a lot of time in this realm. Okay, I have my jokes. But no, Mimikyu is definitely a spooky one, especially if you watch any of the anime and you hear Mimikyu's sound. Like if you heard that sound in the middle of the night, it's like. And if you heard in the middle of the night, that would terrify me, you know?
Yeah.
And it's basically a sentient scarecrow doll. So like what's more terrifying than that?
Yeah. It is very creepy.
Jeepers Creepers Pokemon.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
If you're watching us on Twitch right now, we understand that Kev's going in and out pretty frequently, but we are just doing our best. So bear with us. Number 7 in our countdown is Frostlass. And I wanted to make sure that Frostlass got some appearance on this countdown for sure, because Frostlass is a really creepy Pokemon. So one of the Pokedex entries that we have here says the soul of a woman lost in the snowy mountains possessed an icicle, becoming this Pokemon. The food that it relishes is the souls of men. Now, Frostlass is based off of an ancient ice demon in Chinese folklore, and so that's why Frostlass has so many of these femme fatale kind of qualities. But other entries for Frostlass say that it actually freezes stray hikers and decorates its cavern with the frozen corpses. So not only is this, a ghost of an ice witch kind of thing that just travels throughout the mountains, but also any stray travelers that walk by, yeah, it'll just freeze them and make them into their next couch, have a little kind of Mr. Freeze meets Jeffrey Dahmer kind of situation going on. So
Delicious.
Something that you definitely wouldn't expect in a Pokemon game, and it's one of those things that they don't want you to think too hard on for sure.
Yeah. Don't worry about the creepy ice Pokemon that eats your soul. Don't pay any attention to that.
Worry about the ice Shinigami we slipped into Pokemon, right?
Right.
Don't worry about that. The death siren that we snuck in there with ice powers. But that while Frostlass is killing people and bringing them to an icy death, Cacturn is going kind of more like what's it, Cabin in the Woods style? No, I'm not Cabin in the Woods. What's that? The movie with all the people from the radiation mutated. Anyways, Cacturn's going with a very different, more Heat Miser-esque style, if you will. At number 6 in our countdown. Tell us why Cacturn makes number 6 in our countdown.
Cacturn. All right, let's read what they have to say about Cacturn. If a traveler is going through a desert in the thick of night, Cacturn will follow in a ragtag group. The Pokemon are biding their time, waiting for the traveler to tire and become incapable of moving. Oh my gosh, they move in groups, they stalk their prey, they chase you through the desert until you cannot go anymore, and then they get you. Cacturn also looks straight up like a scarecrow made out of cacti, and I would not want to run into one of these on a hike through the Mojave. No, thank you. While inactive during the day, this nocturnal creature likes to stalk its prey at night. It has lived in the desert for so long that its blood has turned into sand.
Oof. That is weird. Sandy blood? That's
Mhm.
weird. So like if you like slice open a cactus and like a samurai, it's just gonna like start bleeding out sand.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah,
That's
that's weird.
weird. That
That
is
is
super
weird.
duper weird. And especially seeing him like in the middle of the night, just like encroaching on you in the desert, that would creep me the hell out. Just you know,
It
you
makes sense
just
why it's so like crotchety and dangerous too, right? Like, I mean, I hate getting sand everywhere in my shoes and stuff, so it's got it in its bloodstream. No wonder why it
right,
wants to
Yeah.
murder people.
right, yeah. It just wants to get its blood in
Well,
between your shoes.
to be
That's
fair, it never said what it did once the travelers got tired and incapable of moving. Maybe
it
it
could,
brought them back to good health and brought, rested them up, fed
yeah.
them.
It doesn't say that and then it gave them a massage, like
Right,
that would be
right,
really nice.
right. It never said it ended in tragedy and murder. It's very likely, but you never know.
You never know. You never know. Again, we're playing whack-a-mole with the video streams up here. We're probably going to switch to a different video streaming studio here for the next show whenever we get that
Nice.
going. But we're going to be moving right along to number 5 in our countdown, which is Drowsy.
Yes.
Kev, tell us why Drowsy makes number 5 in our countdown.
As the entry says, Dodd. If your nose becomes itchy while you are sleeping, it's a sure sign that one of these Pokemon is standing above your pillow and trying to eat your dream through your nostrils. Completely normal sentence. Drowsy is able to put people to sleep and can then sense the person's dream. This is so it knows what kind of dream it would be eating. Delicious. It has certain preferences for the dreams it eats, and it is known to love fun dreams and becomes ill from bad dreams. It'll rarely eat the dreams of adults because they're all terrible, as the dreams of children are seemingly tastier. Drowsy remembers every dream it has eaten and may show past meals to a person it trusts. What the? Each dreams through the victim's nose, so it is said that Drowsy is standing over a person's pillow while they are dreaming. Guys, has your nose ever twitched in the night or itched? And have you ever had that thought? Is there a Drowsy trying to eat my
I don't know.
dreams?
I don't know what it is about the thought of your dreams being sucked out through your nose
That's
that
so
creeps
disgusting.
me out more than anything on this countdown. Like
Right.
that's why Drowsy got so high up there because I was like, can you just imagine if you woke up and like, hey, no, it's not the good old sleep paralysis demon. No, it's a fucking Drowsy trying to sleep your fucking weird ass dream about how you forgot to pay the electrical bill on your underwear fucking through your nose, and it's just like,
Right.
thanks, bro. I imagine it also sounds like who's the guy that played Penguin and Always Sunny and Danny DeVito. Imagine
Yeah.
Drowsy sounds like Danny DeVito too.
Oh God, Drowsy Freddy Krueger-esque with this.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's pretty terrifying.
Right? Yeah. What do you think about Drowsy sucking your dreams out through your nose, Bronwyn?
I don't know. I think I would take that over the sleep paralysis demon. That is just not good. I'd rather see a drowsy than an ominous dark shadow trying to eat my soul.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I was thinking, I was like, maybe it's a good thing because it'll eat the bad dreams, but it only likes your good dreams. So that means you're probably only left with bad dreams. So it's pretty fucked up when you think about it.
Yeah. So like you're having a really awesome dream where, you're going out, you're doing your thing, you're having fun, you're flying over canyons. I don't know what a good dream is to have or what you can say on stream as a good dream and not sound weird.
Yeah.
That's too. So
Or get
being
banned.
cautious or get banned.
Yeah.
So, like now, whenever I don't remember my dream, though, I'm just gonna think of drowsy and be like, "God damn it!"
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. There it is.
He was slurping it up through my nose.
Oh
Yeah.
God. Phrasing.
Yeah. I don't know why, but that just to me, and like the snout too. He's got to use the snout to eat the dreams in some way, shape, or
That's
form.
what I was.
So like he's just gonna you're just gonna wake up and it's just gonna be he's gonna like pop right off and oh man, that's just that visual to me just is very creepy.
Just doing a line of dreams right out of your REM cycle.
Right. For real. Real. Well, not quite as creepy as number 4 in our countdown. Number 4, Duskull. Duskull can pass through any wall no matter how thick it may be. Once this Pokemon chooses a target, it doggedly pursues the intended victim until the break of dawn. It finds bad children who won't listen to their parents. It will spirit them away or so it said. It loves the crying of children. Okay, so
God.
literally Pennywise and Krampus rolled into one,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
this is the fucking starter evolution for this evolution tree. So this is where this Pokemon starts from.
Yeah.
Why I think this takes a bit more than some of the other ones is like, well, while Drifloon is, stealing kids on the regular, right? At least, you can get some heavy duty boots, or, a couple extra Big Macs and you're good to go. Drowsy, it's eating your dreams. That's kind of creepy. Some of these other ones, I mean, they'll straight up kill you, but you have to be in their, you got to be in their territory, right?
Yeah.
Or trying to look up underneath their disguise. When you get to this point though in the countdown, like Duskull literally delights off of the crying of children. Like that's
Yeah.
something that it gets its jollies off of. So it's going to do things to specifically torment children, and specifically finding those bad children as well. So you're rolling Krampus and Pennywise all into one starter evolution for a ghost type Pokemon. I think that's a definitely worthy of a number 4 slot. What do you think of Duskull making number 4 on the countdown, Braun?
Yeah, I think he's pretty cute. Littlest Nelly and I were just talking in the chat. He is adorable, adorable
Right.
and terrifying. So maybe he does just want friends. Maybe he's misunderstood.
For real.
I mean, who doesn't want bad children to be crying? They're
It's just the
bad.
bad
It's not like he's getting the good ones. Just be good.
Right, just
Yeah.
the bad ones. Just the bad
Yes,
ones.
bad ones.
That's true.
Kev,
Yeah.
what do you think about Duskull making number 4?
I think it's appropriate. It's one of these other tales that keep children in line and make sure you behave. I think the scariest part for me was the crying of children and the following you into the break of dawn. So really, if it's night and you're a piece of shit kid, this is not something you want to run into.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
real, for real. All right, now we're getting really creepy. These are some of the ones that I found were particularly the most creepiest. But number 3 is a really, really interesting one because it's one that you definitely wouldn't expect coming up. Parasect makes number 3 on our countdown. Bronwyn, tell us why Parasect makes number 3.
Parasect. The bug host is drained of energy by the mushroom on its back. They appear to do all the thinking. So yeah, that's pretty creepy. It's possessing this
Well,
bug.
okay.
Mushroom is possessing the bug and controlling its mind, and this actually happens in nature.
Yeah, so
Pretty crazy. It's helpfully identified these mushrooms as Tokukaso, the real species of fungus Cordyceps sinensis, commonly known as caterpillar fungus. This species actually preys upon a caterpillar-like larva of ghost moths, and in the genus Phthirodes. The fungus invades the bodies of larvae living in the soil, eventually killing them. The larvae die near the surface, and the fruiting bodies or mushroom of the fungus ultimately burst out of the larva's forehead and can extend up to 15 centimeters above the ground. The fruiting body spreads its spores, and its life cycle begins all over again, leaving more larvae to be infected. One example of this infects a particular species of ants, and the fungus spreads through its host but doesn't kill it straight away. It restricts itself to consuming the ant's non-vital tissue until the time comes to release spores. At this point, it spreads into the ant's brain and antlers and the creature's perception. The ant is compelled to climb to the top of a tall stalk and clamp on with its jaws. The fungus then fully kills its host, leaving it frozen in position. When the fruiting body emerges, the ant will have taken it into a prime position to release spores and spread them to as many ants as possible. I always feel a little odd when allowing Paras to evolve into Parasect, since I'm basically allowing its brain to be hijacked by another organism, turning it into a blank-eyed zombie Pokemon. But guys, for real, Cordyceps are amazing. I take these mushrooms regularly. They're super good for you. I have them in a powder form, and you can put it in your coffee to drink in the morning. It's fucking amazing. Helps with cognitive enhancing. It increases sex drive. It like makes you feel amazing and empathetic. They're fucking great. I love cordyceps. These are the best mushrooms in the
They
world.
also control the minds of insects.
Yeah.
And that is what this whole Pokemon evolution is based off of, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, it's
But
not
they're
like I
great. You
always
guys
thought of
should
it as a
definitely get
kid.
on the cordyceps. They're the best mushrooms.
Yeah.
Good
What
to
do you
know.
think about Parasects and that whole with all the hindsight of it actually being a thing?
Science. No, I like. I think what's weird, disturbing to me was as a kid, I always thought that the thing with the eyes was the actual Pokemon, but apparently it's the giant fungus on its back. Now I
Right.
don't know how to feel.
It just
But
becomes
it makes sense why they're just blank eyes. Like, there's nothing there anymore.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We're getting to the real creepy ones. Number 2 on our countdown. This one always bugs me because almost all of its Pokedex entries are like this. According to Phantup makes number 2 on our countdown. So for those of you, one of the Pokedex entries reads, according to old tales, these Pokemons are stumps possessed by the spirits of children who have died while lost in the forest. Okay. Here's what's so creepy about Phantup. Phantup is a very common Pokemon. Okay? What is going on in the world of Pokemon where they keep on losing children in the forest? Like every time you go across a Phantup, like how is that not a tragedy? That's like Suicide Forest in Japan. Like that's not something you fuck with. That's not even something you make jokes about. Like what? Like like fuck. There's a serious issue going on in the Pokemon world if Phantump is such a frequently common Pokemon. Phantump should be a mythical. That's what it
to
should
be
be.
to be fair, you become a Pokemon trainer at the age of 10 and go through the wilderness with giant,
Right.
with creatures that have supernatural abilities. So I think that would explain the amount of dead children in the commonness of Phantom,
Right.
which is a warning sign to other children and trainers out there, I guess.
Yeah. When you send your 10-year-old child out into a field with a fire-breathing salamander as his only defense, you know, there may be instances, and those
Yeah.
instances are represented in the plethora of Phantump that
Yeah.
exist within the Pokemon universe.
Sure.
So, Brahman, what do you think about Phantump making number 2 in this countdown?
I think it's well placed. That is creepy as fuck.
That is
Get
creepy.
away. Get away
The
from me,
fact that you
Phantom.
can catch one of these too, like catching a
Right,
deceased
like
child that is
right.
turned into a Pokemon.
It makes that is really teetering on the line of like Pokemon trainer or like child trafficker thing, like that's just ugh,
Yeah.
that's not a good spot you want to be.
Yeah.
So that Phantup is definitely one that again, just knowing what Phantup is whenever you encounter it in the Pokemon world, it makes you kind of wince afterwards. You're like, and all of its Pokedex entries are just like this. So,
Yeah.
Kev, you've got number 1 in our countdown, though. Who takes
Yeah.
it away? Who is the creepiest Pokedex entry out there?
Yeah, these are all creepy and disturbing, but there can only be one. And I'll just start with the quote from the entry. It always wears the skull of its dead mother, so no one has any idea what its hidden face looks like. That's right, Cubone is number 1 on our top 10 today. It is called the lonely Pokemon because of its tendency to keep to itself and avoid social situations due to the trauma caused by the death of its mother. Cubone will often weep at night in mourning of its mother. When Cubone cries, the skull that it wears on its head vibrates and emits a plaintive and mournful sound. On the night of a full moon, the cries are said to be especially terrible. Cubone seems to recognize its mother in the full moon, and so it howls with a particular sadness. Its cries attract a Matibuzz, a natural predator. It is said a Cubone will evolve into a Marowak once it comes to terms with its mother's death. The dreams Cubone have make it cry, but crying makes it stronger. I don't know if that's creepy or depressing. Like
both. It is both.
He wears the skull of his dead mother on his face. Like, what? Is this the Norman Bates of Pokemon?
Right. And also think about this. A Marowak has to die for a Cubone to be born. Like this whole situation that happens just for a Cubone to get its face. Again, no one knows what a Cubone is. They've got to kill the mother. and like its whole Pokemon evolution is trauma based. Like that is a whole like the hashtag free Cubone. Like what the fuck is going on? We've got there's got to be and here's the reason why Cubone makes number one. One, because it's a story that almost everybody knows in the Pokemon lore universe. Two, this isn't just a Pokedex entry that they did one-off kind of thing, right? This wasn't just one weird Pokedex entry kind of thing. This was Cubone's story. And not only that, unlike other stories in the Pokemon universe, you had to fucking play this one out. You played out this Pokedex entry in the beginning games. You actually had to battle the ghost of Marowak, which was crazy, crazy, bizarre idea. Now, did it make me absolutely love Cubone as a Pokemon? Of course it does. It's like pretty much the Batman Pokemon. But, you know, like, it's still very horrifying and traumatizing that this creature has to, you know, have its mother die for it to go on. And also, like, you know, if a Marowak has to die for a Cubone to be born, like,
and not only that,
like is the Cubone killing their mother?
Maybe it dies in birth, or
is that what happens?
Maybe, but then that's also weird because then it just takes the skull from its mother. Anyway, that's a whole another rabbit hole, I guess. But also, too, these things are common, so this is just the life cycle of a Cubone. Like that's pretty fucked up.
It's one of those things when you look in the Pokemon world that you don't want to pick it apart too much because when you get too deep into it, it just gets fucking nuts. And it gets to you start getting to a level of meta that you just don't want to be at. But yeah, that will about do it for our show this week. Thank you guys so much for tuning